Hi, dyslexic genius here, Brett Hurt. Question came up online. I'm buying my first phonograph, or I've inherited my first phonograph. Well, let me show you a few things that you should look at before you buy or inherit a phonograph. First of all, you want to look at condition. You want to make sure no veneer's missing, it hasn't been painted pink or blue, that the pull knobs here for the speaker are here. The key locks are here. Then you lift the lid. The turntable is here. The brake mechanism is right here. Speed control is here, and there's a little knob on the speed control. You want to make sure the little knob's here. There's a little piece of plastic here in this version. So we've looked at the phonograph. We want to make sure that the tone arm, this long piece, is here, and that this reproducer is here. All phonographs have the company name on the reproducer. So if you have a Victor phonograph, it will say Victrola. Or the other Victor, this is a Victor exhibition, but it says Victor right here. When you look at your reproducer on the machine here, you want to look at the front of your phone, the front of the reproducer, and this plastic piece is called the mica. You want to make sure there's no cracks. This bar coming up here is called the needle bar because the needle comes in here. You want to make sure that's not punched through. You also want to look at the gasket material. You want to push your finger in there and make sure those are soft. If they haven't been rebuilt in 10 or 20 years, this white rubber will turn a hardened brown looking. On other Victor reproducers are all the same. And you can check the little rubber right in here. These don't have the rubber gasket like an exhibition, which is here. This one has a rubber gasket. It should be pliable. This is absolutely the most common reproducer on a Victor phonograph. Now that we've looked at that, we want to make sure that the stop handle is in place. We have two things on this. This piece here holds the reproducer, and behind it is this long rod, and that comes over and hits the brake system right here to shut the record off for you. You want to make sure that that's there. You want to make sure the tone arm is not loose. Now what you want to look at is go, does it play? So this is the brake system. So you pull it back, that lets the phonograph start, and you hit the brake, and it stops the turntable. Then you're going to crank it up. You just crank it up a little bit. And while you're cranking, you want to make sure that if you're cranking the phonograph up, and if you hear a slipping sound, you know that there's a spring problem right away. Then you're going to turn the machine on. You just turn it like this. That's off, that's on, and it will fire up. We don't hear any rattling noises. We don't hear any whoop, whoop, whoop sound like a vibration problem. That's caused by a governor ball missing or wrong governor ball weight. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the turntable. And you can remove the turntable while the machine is running. And it just pops off like that. And you want to look at Victor motors. All phonographs have bolts or screws that go through that hold the motor in place. You want to make sure when you pull the turntable off, you don't have extra bolt holes in here that are drilled in. That way you know the motor's been messed with. So what we want to do now is look at the motor. On Victor machines, we have two screws in the front up here that you take out with a screwdriver right here. Off camera, I loosened these out so we could do this. You have two little screws. Some Victor machines have 4. You're going to turn the yoke part of the brake in, and you're going to turn the brake on. Because if you have the brake to stop, this is going to hit over here on on the motherboard.
And you bend it, huh?
You'll bend them. You're going to turn the turntable off to the side. Now you're going to remove the crank.
The tone arm.
Yeah, you move the tone arm to the side. You're going to crank the crank backwards towards you because you crank the machines toward the back of the phonograph. And you pull the crank out. Sometimes these are kind of stuck because you haven't oiled the threads here. You can just give it a little pop and it'll come loose. Then you have the lift knob here, which is right here. Sometimes these are missing when you're looking for holes. You go, oh, my lift knob's missing. And lift that up, and you go, there's the phonograph motor. This thing spinning right there where my finger is called the governor. And the governor has 3 weights called governor weights. 1, 2, 3. And sometimes these are held in place with a hardened spring, and you can see this move like that. And they break. This happens on phonographs. So you want to turn it on, and if everything's running like that, it looks very good. It's running smoothly. You don't see one weight popping out while the machine's running. That means it's out of balance. And also all the weights are the same size, and you're not missing one. Now you're going to look at the gears, the cranking gear system here, to make sure that there's no messed up gears, there's no stripped out gears. You want to look behind this piece coming down to the drive gear. You want to make sure that looks good right here. And while it's cranked up like that, you can just sit here and watch the drive gear run. That gear there is driving the spindle shaft, which is driving the governor, which is a speed control to your phonograph. And this is what you want to look at when you inherit one or are buying a phonograph. Even in an antique store, you want to pull the turntable off and make sure we're not missing anything. This is a lot of fun, and that's my tip for the day.
So you don't have to oil it.
Oh, you should oil.
Starting where?
You want to, first you want to oil the spindle shaft. And what's really nice about Victor machines, they have a little tag under here, right under here. It'll tell you how to oil your phonograph. And you want to use sewing machine oil. This is a lot of fun, and that's my tip for the day.